Welcome back to Tea and Talk English Podcasts. I'm Mark, and as always, I'm here with Jessica. Today we're exploring something huge in global music, BTS and K-pop culture.
Hi, everyone. K-pop has become a worldwide sensation, and BTS is right at the center of it. Millions of fans around the globe are inspired by their music, fashion, and message.
7 guys from South Korea generated more economic impact than the entire GDP of Iceland last year. That's the mind-blowing story of BTS, and it's completely transforming how we think about global entertainment.
Those numbers are staggering. And it's not just about album sales, right? We're talking about their influence on everything from tourism to language learning.
Exactly. Let me break down how revolutionary this is. BTS contributed over $4.6 billion to South Korea's economy in 2019 alone. That's billion with a B. And they started from this tiny company, Big Hit Entertainment, sharing a cramped apartment and practicing 16 hours a day.
The way they documented those early struggles really created this unique connection with fans. You know, I've seen those old videos. All 7 of them sleeping on the floor, sharing meals in this tiny space.
And here's what's fascinating about their rise. They didn't follow the traditional K-pop playbook. They wrote songs about mental health, social inequality, and youth struggles when most groups were sticking to love songs and party anthems.
That authenticity really shows in their music. How many pop groups do you know that reference Carl Jung's psychological theories or Ursula K. Le Guin's short stories in their lyrics?
Speaking of their creative process, each member brings something unique. RM, their leader, learned English by watching Friends and now gives speeches at the UN. Suga produces tracks that tackle depression and anxiety. J-Hope's dance background transformed their performance style.
Well, that reminds me of something interesting. Their influence on masculinity in pop culture. The way they wear makeup, express emotions freely, and challenge gender norms has really impacted global perspectives.
Let's talk about their fan base, ARMY. These aren't just passive consumers. They matched BTS's $1 million donation to Black Lives Matter in just 24 hours. They've organized global charity projects, environmental initiatives, and even created their own translation networks.
That level of fan engagement is unprecedented. And it's all coordinated through social media and their own platform, Weverse, right?
Exactly. Their company actually created this entire narrative universe called the Bangtan Universe across multiple platforms. Music videos, books, games, social media. It's revolutionized how artists engage with fans.
The economic ripple effects are fascinating too. When Jimin became Dior's ambassador, their stock value jumped by billions. Samsung's sales spiked just because Jungkook mentioned using their phone.
And here's what's really interesting about their global success. They didn't have to westernize. They kept singing primarily in Korean, maintained their cultural identity, and still became the first Korean act to hit #1 on Billboard Hot 100.
That's such a crucial point about their impact on representation. They've really opened doors for Asian artists in the global market.
Looking at their broader influence, applications for Korean language courses have skyrocketed worldwide. Korean culture, from food to skincare, has become mainstream in ways nobody could have predicted.
And now with their military service period, they're setting new precedents for how global artists handle career transitions.
You know what's remarkable? Even during this hiatus, their influence continues growing. Their company's value has increased, their solo projects are breaking records, and their cultural impact keeps expanding.
That really speaks to the sustainability of their impact. They've created something that goes beyond just music.
Looking ahead, their legacy will likely reshape entertainment for generations. They've created this blueprint for maintaining authenticity while achieving global success, using platforms for social good, and creating meaningful connections in the digital age.
That's what makes their story so powerful. They're not just musicians. They've become cultural revolutionaries who've redefined what's possible in global entertainment.
And as we wrap up, here's what's most fascinating. BTS showed that music truly can transcend language and cultural barriers. They've created this global community that proves art can unite people across all boundaries.
Well said. They've really redefined what it means to be global artists in the 21st century, and their influence will be felt for years to come.
To make this conversation more exciting, we have a special guest. Please welcome Daniel Lee, a Korean American artist who writes and performs pop music inspired by K-pop.
Thank you, Mark and Jessica. I'm so happy to be here. K-pop and BTS have really changed how the world looks at Korean culture, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Let's begin with BTS. Daniel, why do you think BTS became such a global phenomenon?
There are many reasons. First, their music is very diverse. It mixes pop, rap, R&B, even rock. Second, their lyrics often talk about real struggles like youth, mental health, and dreams. And finally, their connection with fans, known as ARMY, is something very special.
That's true. I've read that BTS members write and produce much of their own music, which makes them unique compared to many pop groups.
Exactly. They're not just performers, they're storytellers. Their songs feel authentic, and that authenticity is why people from different cultures can relate to them.
Another thing people love about BTS is their performances. The choreography, the energy, the stage design. It feels like a whole experience.
Yes, performance is a huge part of K-pop. In Korea, artists train for years before debuting. They learn singing, dancing, stage presence, even languages. BTS went through that too, but they also added their personal creativity. Let's talk about culture. BTS often uses Korean traditions, words, and fashion in their work. How has that influenced global awareness of Korean culture?
It's had a massive impact. Many fans start learning Korean because of BTS. People explore Korean food, fashion, and history. It's like a cultural bridge. The music opens the door, and then people want to learn more.
I have to admit, I started watching Korean dramas after listening to BTS. It's like once you step into K-pop, you discover so much more.
That's very common. K-dramas, Korean films, and even skincare have become more popular worldwide thanks to the Hallyu wave, the Korean wave. BTS is a big part of that.
Some people say K-pop is not just music, but a lifestyle. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Fans don't just listen to the songs, they follow the fashion, the message, the charity work. BTS has encouraged fans to support social causes, speak about mental health, and love themselves. That's more than just entertainment.
That's powerful. But some people also criticize K-pop for being too strict or too demanding on artists. What's your perspective on that?
It's true that the industry is intense. Training is tough, schedules are long, but things are slowly changing, partly because artists like BTS have spoken openly about their struggles. They've shown that being human is more important than being perfect. Before we finish, Daniel, what advice would you give to young fans who dream of becoming artists, maybe even in K-pop? My advice is to stay authentic, learn from K-pop, admire the discipline and creativity, but also develop your own voice. Don't just copy, express your true self. That's what BTS did, and that's why they're loved worldwide.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for sharing your thoughts with us today. And thank you to our listeners for joining another episode of Tea and Talk English Podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe and comment your favorite BTS song or K-pop artist below. See you next time.
Morning sunlight filters through the blinds. We settle in, hearts and curious minds. Porcelain mugs cradle words we shared. Stories steeping in the rising air. Tea and talk where our worlds collide. Sip by sip we take the ride. Pour your thoughts into this space. Every voice finds its place. We wander through the highs and lows, unravel tales in quiet flows. Between the sips and whispered lines, we find our truths in steady times. Ooh, every pause is room to breathe. Confessions tucked in every leaf. cup of warmth can heal a heart. Together here we're never apart. So join the circle, pull up a chair. Tea and talk will meet you there.